All right. So let's start here. So the city of Boston, Michelle Wu, they're at it again. Okay. There has been a potential punishment for commercial property owners for simply exercising their legal rights. This is not speculation. That's the accusation leveled by the Pioneer New England Legal Foundation. What ended up happening is yesterday around 5 or 6 o'clock, I got the legal letter, a formal legal letter that was sent to the state's revenue commissioner. What's happening is they are attempting to expose what may be one of the most underhanded and unconstitutional tax scams I've seen probably ever, okay? One example of this was a Seaport office building. They appealed their taxes in fiscal year 2024. And what ended up happening is they got hit with a $14.4 million increase in assessed value for fiscal year 2025. To put things into perspective, that cost the owner an additional $374,000 in their taxes. Why? Because they exercised their right to challenge the city. Now, according to this letter, Mayor Wu's administration has allegedly been targeting property owners who file tax abatement appeals by slapping them with these hidden assessment hikes for the following year without any public notice, without any legal authority, and without any accountability. So what we are talking about here, think of it this way. Office buildings are selling for 35 to 50% below what they were selling for prior to the pandemic, right? Which would lead me to believe if somebody goes to appeal their taxes, the new tax valuation is going to be based off of, let's say, declining real estate. So how in God's name are people getting hit with hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of dollars in more taxes? It makes absolutely no sense. So again, these tax bills are jumping by a ton, all because the owners dared to challenge City Hall. Does this type of retaliation sound familiar to you? Think about what happened to the outdoor dining situation with the restaurants in the North End. It seems like Michelle Wu, City Hall, this is becoming commonplace. This is very bad, guys. This is very, very bad. The city is labeling these taxpayers internally with things like ATB dispute or override open appeal. And these notions are then quietly erased from public records before they get released, which would obviously suggest that the city knows exactly how wrong this is. And they are just out there trying to cover their tracks. This isn't some kind of glitch in the system here, guys. This is a potentially deliberate, punitive system. And according to PNELF, it really violates everything from the First Amendment to the Massachusetts Constitution, which guarantees proportional taxation. And instead of owning up, like Wu's office is, of course, they're stonewalling again. And they're claiming everything is legal, routine, and certified, as if certified means justified, right? Meanwhile, these poor property owners are paying inflated taxes on a declining asset based on absolutely bogus assessments that don't reflect the market value or the market's reality. All while Boston stares down a $1.7 billion budget hole created by the Wu administration. That is what's happening here. So are they trying to scrape the bottom of the barrel by charging people more money, potentially illegally by absolutely ridiculous assessment values? It doesn't make any sense. And let me be clear here for a second, guys. To me, what I'm trying to say is this is what desperation looks like. This is what it looks like when an administration that promised progress turns to punishment. And Mayor Wu is governing like the rules don't apply to her, weaponizing the tax code, silencing dissent, and treating appeals not as a legal right, but as a personal offense. This is the most ridiculous level of retaliation I've seen in a long time. So if you're a business owner in Boston, it looks like, the message is clear. Sit down, shut up, and pay your taxes. Or will make it worse for you next year. This isn't just a bad policy. This is like some level of top-down government retaliation. And if the state does not intervene within the next 30 days, I was reading PNELF, they're ready to sue. So the real question here is this: how many more property owners are going to be quietly targeted? Even just me admitting this information, people might be out there right now planning on getting their taxes reassessed. And after reading something like this or seeing something like this, they may be second guessing things, right? It's a huge problem. More importantly, like, who in the Wu administration knows about this? Because this isn't just about taxes. This is about the abuse of power. And people need to remember this come election season. Okay? Very, very important. I'm going to stay on top of this, and I will do everything in my power to get any level of press releases or affiliated documentation when more releases. But overall, I find it just absurd. And I'm in this business, right? I sell real estate. When you have declining property values, how is it humanly possible that people could be getting hit with these absolutely ridiculous tax assessments on a declining asset? Really, think about it. It's unbelievable to me. And for them to not even comment about these things, it's just despicable, guys. I don't know. Anyway, that's it for today's video. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.